We're live? All right, well, take this, Brittany. The Pastors Hangover. Yeah. Ouch.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Pastors Hangover. My name is Melissa, and each week we dive into biblical truth, and we have some special guests with us today, starting with Pastor Halmer.
Good morning.
And we have the Lutz team.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Cody, Pastor Doug, and Tina is here.
Super excited.
We are pumped to have you guys. You guys are the end cap of our location features.
All
for
right.
this summer.
Let's go.
So we save the best for last.
All right.
Don't
We'll
tell
go with
everyone
that.
else I
Is it
said
the
that.
best for last, or is it that we just had to see everybody else do it, so we kind of knew? Got to
We
see
were
their
worried.
reps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It worked out.
They
We
didn't
were
trust
trying
us.
to find a week that Cody couldn't make it, but that's just
There you
didn't
go.
work
I'm
out.
just here every week.
Well, we're excited to hear from you guys. And now you guys know the questions I'm going to ask, really, because I've asked every other week. But we want to hear about you guys. We want to get to know you a little bit. We want to hear the heart behind the Lutz location and kind of the ministries you guys work in. But also, we're going to talk about Acts today because we've just loved this Acts series as we're flowing through it with
It's
the
been
church.
so good. Just the early church. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. There's so much to learn, right? So
Right.
much to learn from them. But why don't we start with Tina? Why don't you tell us your 90-second testimony? What has God done in your life?
Okay. Tina Stumpfhauser, Women's Ministry Coordinator at Lutz, obviously.
Yeah.
So I know, I was like, what am I going to share in 90 seconds? But here goes nothing. So I'm a Tampa girl, born and raised right here in Tampa.
Cool.
There's just a couple of us. And in and out of church, it was just me and my sister. We were kind of in and out of church. My dad was Baptist. My mom was Episcopalian. So we were different churches, different church experiences. Also, parents were both addicts to alcohol. So we grew up with alcoholic parents, and that was kind of tough. So, but in and out of church, never really understood what a relationship with Christ looked like until it was really like end of high school, beginning of college years. I had a best friend that kept inviting me to church, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go. It's a small little church here in Tampa. And that's when I really, really started understanding what a relationship was. And I gave my life to Christ really after going to that church for a couple of years. It took a couple years. And that's where it all began. In my 20s, I married my high school sweetheart and went through a divorce a few years later. That turned out to be a very unhealthy, toxic relationship. Shortly after that, met my current husband, and we just actually celebrated 25 years. We just went on a trip,
Come
25
on.
years.
Way
So,
to go.
That's awesome.
So exciting.
Right.
And we have two adult children. So we're like almost empty nesters when my son goes back to school in September. So it's figuring out this new season. I'm like, I don't really know what that looks like, but we're going to figure it out. So, and I've just been part of Grace Family Church for a really long time. Originally came to Grace like 27 years ago. We've had a couple moves along the way and stuff. So, but Grace has been home base for me for a really, really long time. Groups is my heart. I love women's ministry. I'm a girl's girl to my core. And that's me.
That's
Awesome.
That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that.
I think Tina won.
That was quick.
Closest to 90
Oh,
seconds.
That was like the
something.
shortest.
Yes.
Hey, wait,
She
we
may have
haven't gone
actually-
yet, though.
Yes.
So, whoa.
Don't try to beat it.
And
But
it wasn't watered down. Like,
Yeah,
you
that was
share.
good.
I mean, growing up with parents,
Yeah.
that are alcoholics, that
Yeah.
is turbulent. But
It
you got through your story
is,
so
yeah.
succinctly. She can teach. You
well,
can teach a
and,
lesson.
and the dynamic of growing up in a
beautiful.
house that's religious, but you have the alcoholism.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of times it causes people to go against what their
Yeah.
parents had or what they were going
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
So you said it was the friend that kind of brought you back, but did you
Yeah.
struggle with that side of it or?
I didn't struggle with like the faith part of it. I struggled in general with growing up with those dynamics at home. I completely was like, I did the 180 of like, I'm never going to drink because I see what this does. And I pretty much have held fast to that. I just kind of avoid anything that's kind of questionable because I've seen the scariness of it. So, they had a very bad marriage. I mean, they stayed married. I mean, my dad now has passed. He passed when I was in my 30s. But it was that addiction, like, kept going well, way into my adulthood. Like it was always a thing. And they were functional alcoholics, so they were still able to do stuff, but then it was, home life was a lot of times unpredictable.
Yeah.
So, and when you grow up like that, it does really make you, it affects everything. It affects relationships that you're in. Unfortunately, I fell into a relationship that was very toxic and somewhat mimicked home life. And I just kind of didn't know that there was something else out there that could be healthier and better. But God always has a better plan. God always, he's in the business of restoration and restoring hearts and showing us differences. Like it was also a foundation of like, what do I want to do different for my own children? You know? So, but I can tell you this though, no matter what formula we come up with our kiddos, like they're still going to go through their own testimonies and their own ups and downs and the hills and valleys of life. But yeah. Yeah,
so cool.
It was the best friend kept like inviting me. I was like kind of like end of high school, and I was like, okay. And she was a few years older than me, and she had got married very young, and she was like, oh, my husband and I, and it's real close to your house. And I was like, okay. So, but it was such a blessing. And I jumped into that church. I started serving and everything. I didn't even truly know the Lord, but like when you don't know that you don't know the Lord. And then one day I was like, oh, today's the day.
Wow.
Today's the day. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Tina.
And I'll say the Lord has redeemed your childhood years because she is amazing at what she does with Beautiful. Just amazing.
Thank
beautiful
you.
thing.
Making
Thank
such an
you.
impact.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's so
Just had to
cool.
throw it in there.
Yeah.
All right, Pastor Doug, let's hear it.
All right, 90
Excited to hear from
seconds.
you.
So born and raised in a Christian family, and went forward at an evening church service to accept the Lord, but also stumbled across pornography at a very young age. And that became a hook, like Satan set a hook in my life at that point that followed me into my adulthood and into marriage. And I got caught in this addiction in a pretty spectacular way that really impacted everything about my life up to that point. And I was able to enter into a restoration process at that point. It took about 2 years to go through this, but came out the other side, just changed and transformed. And I kept thinking there's one thing worse than getting caught, and that's not getting caught. Because then you think I'm getting away with it. My life is manageable as long as everyone believes the latest lie. I can manage this, right? And getting caught was the best thing that ever happened, and that was 26 years ago. So praise God. So I just have a heart for recovery ministry here at Grace. We're really leaning to celebrate recovery. So I'm one of the engines behind that, participating in that and making sure that's growing and a place that people can find healing from their hurts, habits, and hangups.
Yeah.
So it's been a blessing to be a part of that. Been a pastor here at Grace for going on 14 years now, and just amazed, that God is using me. Because you kind of disqualify yourself when you go through something that traumatic. And I feel like God, you're on a basketball bench and he's looking like, who can I put in next? And he looks down, the bench, and everyone kind of goes back because they don't really want to play because they're kind of scared. And I was the last one to go back, and he's like, okay, Otto, you're in. And I'm like, really? Are you sure? Like, me, right?
Yeah.
And so just blown away at what God can do with someone who's surrendered. But married to my beautiful wife, 30 years. We have 3 great kids. Just really feel blessed and honored to be a part of what God is doing through the ministries of Grace Family Church. So, yeah.
So cool.
And I'll add to it because you brought it up, but pornography is not something that is just something, it's not like other sins. It's an addiction. And it's one of those things. So it can't be treated as just another sin. It can't be treated as something, I'll just stop doing that.
Yeah.
Or I can just step away from that. It's like, no, it's something that actually it's very addictive. It's the most addictive substance we have, and it affects us in big ways. And that's one of the reasons why we have Celebrate Recovery.
Yep.
And now Celebrate Recovery is for so much more than just that. But I tell people that are dealing with it, don't treat it as just another sin. Treat it as an addiction because it's something that matters. 6 months ago, I think it was, we did a podcast with 2 guys that work with people who have pornography addictions and stuff like that. So if you are somebody listening to this, You heard for Doug, it was a 2-year process
Yeah.
to walk through it. Because you got to find out why we're doing this.
Yes.
What's at the bottom of this?
Yes,
All
because
these
it's a
things.
symptom.
Yes.
It's a symptom of a brokenness.
Right.
It's not the issue. The issue is something else that drives that behavior. But like a drug, you need a little bit more to get the same escape.
Yeah.
So it's a progressive addiction that takes you down dark roads that you all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, how in the world did I get here?
Yeah.
I can't imagine. But God is good.
But unlike alcohol and other drugs, nobody knows.
Yep.
And
Right.
so
Right.
it's one of those dynamics. And so just a reminder for those of you heard Pastor Doug say the worst thing that could happen is not getting caught.
Yep.
Go ahead
Yep.
and step forward now and
Absolutely.
find the help.
And Celebrate Recovery is a safe place. There is no judgment. There's no condemnation. There's freedom. Guys sit at the table and they say, I've never told anybody this before. And I'm like, they're about to experience freedom that they've never had. So it's powerful.
That's so good.
Cool. And maybe on the YouTube version of this message, I'll link that episode that you're talking about the, really it was 4 men talking about pornography and walking through that and what that looks like. And I just think, the stats are like 75%.
It's very high, especially in the next
men
generation.
And 60% of women, right, are
And the rest are
involved
lying.
in that. Yeah. And it's I love that we're calling it out.
Yeah.
Because there's no
There's
shame
hope.
in
There's
the house
hope.
of the Lord.
Yep.
Like, get the help we need. Let's go.
Yeah. So cool.
And Melissa, you mentioned something too, and I was shocked when I read statistics about women
Yeah.
because I've heard stories, and when I realized this was many years ago, actually, not many, but like within the last 10 years, and I was like, wow, and the statistics were rising for women, and social media and the internet, oh man, there's good and bad and ugly that comes all with that. So it's just, so it's.
Well, it's rising. And here's what's crazy. Your brains are different than ours. We all know that. Like you're wired different. They understood what pornography did to men very early on. They didn't know, but they found it's actually way more destructive. Women who watch are much more likely to cheat. They're much more likely to do a lot of, it's very destructive. So it is something. Like, it's not just men. It's not just men. And so it's something that has to be talked about. Yeah.
So get in community,
Right.
whether it's Celebrate Recovery, Freedom at Grace Healing Church, whoever your people are, share it with your people. Step out of shame, right?
Yeah,
What
there's
you keep
hope.
in the darkness, the enemy can mess with. What you bring to the light, God can heal.
And find your people. Your people can be here. If you don't have people, your people can be here. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
And I just want to jump in. I know I haven't got to introduce myself, but my name's Cody. And
Yes.
I do the youth ministry here at our Lutz location.
Cool.
And so since we're on topic of pornography, like most of the time, this doesn't happen, when you're in your adult years. I think the average age drops year after year because the accessibility gets greater and greater. And so I think the average age, Pastor
8 to
Hal might know,
11, somewhere in
I was about
there.
to say, I think it's 11,
Yeah.
which is 5th grade. It's not even middle school yet.
Right.
And so I just want to encourage even parents who might be watching this, if you've got kids, if you've got students, just encourage you. We get to connect with your students on Wednesdays and on the weekends, but you're with them all the time. So really, there's a lot of tools out there to help you, because I know I'm a dad who's got a 7-year-old, and I'm like, all right, 4 years. Woo!
Right.
I'm looking online now, getting myself prepared to have conversations, and we're talking even about what that looks like at
Wow.
at 7.
I'd say bring it up early and often.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that same conversation with my 12-year-old when he was 7.
Yeah.
Of just the understanding of, hey, if you see something like this, you are not in trouble.
Right.
Come and talk to me.
Right.
Because the porn brings shame, it brings guilt.
And you want to hide.
And at the same time, there's something about you want to look at it again at that age. And
Yeah.
I had, when I talked about it at United one time, I had a guy come up to me and say, I started when I was 6 years old. And I was like, golly, man. But to go through that amount of time without having somebody to talk to is much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So Cody, tell
Cody,
us
coming
about
off of
you.
that.
All right, we're already halfway through. That's crazy.
Tell us about you.
Man, 90
That's
seconds.
how it goes.
I know.
These are 90 seconds was just a
It's
suggestion.
just kind of a suggestion. What's like the actual range here? 90
I think,
to 9 minutes?
It's
Yeah.
We've had a couple.
Okay, cool. I'll
Tell
try
us
to
about you.
I'll
Tell
try to
us
be as
your
efficient
story.
as these two over here. I got a lot in my story in a young life. I still like to claim it. I am 30 now, but I've moved
Whoa.
houses.
Sorry.
You have four kids?
I
Three
have
kids?
4 kids.
He has four kids.
It's part of you're jumping
Yeah.
ahead. You're jumping ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying at 30, that's impressive.
Yes.
I just had my first.
At 30, I
Impressive.
have
That's
been
one way
married
to look
about
at
to
it.
be 8 years, have 4 kids, and I've moved 36 times.
Bro.
And so there's a lot of life. There's a lot of testimony, but highlights of that are I grew up as a pastor's kid. So I kind of knew ministry. I was born into it almost. I was like the mascot for my dad's youth group growing up. And so I knew a couple things. I knew I loved Jesus, and I knew I did not want to be a pastor. And a lot of that was just due to just the financial sacrifices I saw my parents having to make, and moving when God would call. I mean, I lived in Canada, Arizona, Indiana, Chicago, California twice, different sections of Florida. So all over. Where people ask, where are you from? It's just North America. That's kind of where it's at. And I just knew I didn't want to do that. And then 11th grade, similar to Tina's story, you were the friend. I had a friend. I knew Jesus. I was at church every Wednesday, plugged in good community. But there was this friend I had on the golf team, and just felt like I was supposed to invite him to church. And I invited him to church every single week for about 2 years. And finally, I just told him, hey, we have a basketball hoop at church. And that got him to come. He was like, all right, man, if I come play basketball, will you stop inviting me? And I was like, maybe. And he showed up. He played basketball before service, and I thought he was going to leave, but he stuck it out, and he gave his life to Jesus that night. And it was a big moment where just the Holy Spirit hit me. I wanted to go into engineering. I was like, that's where the money's at. Yeah. And God hit me. He's like, hey, it's not about the money. It's about souls. And that was the moment I just felt, man, this is a missional thing for me. God's assignment on my life is full-time ministry, and doing it alongside my dad for a while. And so everything pivoted in 11th grade for me. And I stopped looking at Purdue University and started looking at the School of Ministries, and went through School of Ministry, stepped into ministry full-time at 19 years old. And that was quick. I was like, all right, God, that was 2 years. And so stepped in, continued to move. I mean, my dad and I have a great relationship, but there's even stories there. But long story short, in 11th grade, we also moved to San Diego from Florida. And I had spent my longest stint in Florida for 9 years, getting to know friends, people. Now, I moved around in Lakeland while we were there, but all the people were the same. Community was the same. And so it just felt like I was ripped out of that. And so in my senior year of high school, I'll never forget, we lived up on a mountain. Little subtle flex. It was kind of cool. But there was a little cliff that I would see and I'd have to drive by every day, and just found myself in a dark place and thinking almost every single day, if I just drove off, it's done. I don't have to live in the sadness. I don't have to live in the hurt or the pain or the loneliness anymore. And I thank God for my dad and then a couple good friends that God put around me just to speak life. And their goal was to just make me smile, right? And 6 months in, there's a message being preached about God's calling is greater than your own comfort. And that hit me because I was not comfortable, but I was like, I know what God's calling me to do, and I'm not doing it. And so kind of redirected me. And to be honest with you, I stepped into ministry at 19, and God opened those doors. But even young in ministry, I got married at 21. Wow. My wife was never supposed to be able to have babies. I have 4 babies now. Whoops. Crazy, right? And so early in 21, we were in a new city, a new place, away from all family with new kid. My wife didn't work, and found myself again, oh man, the weight of the world's on my shoulders. It felt like, right? And so similar thing, that mental health just kept coming back, and I found myself trying to just numb through video games, playing basketball 4 times a week. And my wife was like, hey, is it basketball or is it me? And that was a big moment. And so I went, saw doctors. They put me on antidepressants, started taking some medication. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't sad, but I wasn't happy either. It numbed everything. And so a big part of my story is really, this is where God, even in ministry, because I'm still showing up on Sundays and on Wednesdays, I'm like, God, I'm doing it because you're asking me to do it, but I don't even know if I want to do it. And in that moment, he put the right people around me, the right guys. Like I feel like they reached down, pulled me out of this pit, because they're like, hey, listen, you're in your word, that's awesome, but you don't have the right friends. You're not spending enough time in prayer, and you eat Eggo waffles for breakfast every single day, and that's not going to help anything. So change your diet, right? And so all areas of health. And I was like, that's just what I grew up on. If you played basketball, it was Eggo waffles and pizza rolls.
Wow. Wait, no, that wasn't the play basketball thing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, my team, it was. So that was kind of like early in ministry, man, God just pulled me out, ripped me out of it. And so now what's great about it is I've been in youth ministry now for 11 years. Wow. And time and time again, especially in the social media era that these students live in, conversations about mental health, depression, anxiety come up all the time. And you know what? God got me through it, and I seen what he does, and get the right community around you. be involved in the right places, get in your word, get in prayer, and take care of yourself. Like work out, eat right, because those things all play a part in it. Get outside, touch the grass, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what the kids say.
Well, and I'll say this too. I mean, you're in ministry going through this.
Yeah.
It's always one of those dynamics where I think we can walk into church and look at everybody smiling and go, everybody's good but me. And it's not true at all. In fact, one of the greatest things that I get to do is I'll be on prayer team from time to time or get at the front, and you have people come forward that you go, they look like they have it all together, and share things with you that you're like, I'm amazed you got out of bed this morning. Yeah. And so we don't know what people are walking through. We don't know what's going on. But at the same time, there's something in the church, and we've got to make sure it's okay to be real. Yeah. It's okay to be honest. Yeah. So it's one of those things, like don't fake Christianity. Don't fake that you're okay. It doesn't mean you have to be like ho-hum the entire time, but be honest and have some people you're honest with. Yeah. Not the entire church, but who are some people that are close to you that you can be honest with? Yeah. Because it's very real. And we would much rather you be around people than be in those moments where you are. You're going down the street and you're going, who's going to miss me? The truth is a lot of people, but in that moment you don't see it.
Yeah. You know, and it starts with the leadership at Grace. That's how we live at Grace. And I know Cody's just impacting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of youth through your leadership and your testimony, your authenticity. Because if they see us having the courage to tell the truth, it gives them the courage to tell the truth.
I'll tell you what, I am glad that God pulled me out when he did, because I was 21 with a kid on the way, not 30 with 4 kids in the middle of ministry with hundreds of students coming and basketball games. Man, I can't imagine if I didn't learn those lessons about community and getting the right people that you can just be open with. Man, I would be broken.
It's such a reminder too. We all have a story, right? We all have a story, and we all have stuff, good and bad, from past, from current, even current, right? Like we all go through hard stuff. One of my favorite things about my current role is our volunteer interviews. Like for me, interviewing people that are going to lead and coach and serve in women's ministry. I tell people this all the time. It's like my favorite part of my job, because I get to spend an hour, sometimes a little longer than an hour, because I just go with it. And I just to hear people, you hear their story and something you didn't know. Like some other leader told you this person would be a great leader, right? So you're like, okay, fill out the volunteer application. Maybe I've met you, maybe I haven't. And just to spend an hour or more with that person to hear their, and I want to know their story, right? It's like the best thing. So like, that's just such an encouragement for all of us. Like, share your story because we want to know your story. Like, we want to know your story. Everyone has a story to tell, and we don't grow. I always tell people we don't grow in community and relationship and fellowship if we don't tell our story, right? If we're not transparent and vulnerable and not share our story. So I love that. I love that.
And one other thing I just want to share from Cody's story is we're similar. We both have dads, pastors, and both did not want to go into ministry. You're going to go into engineering. I was going to go into the medical field. I went to UF, wanted to go into the medical field. And part of it is the money dynamic is an interesting dynamic. And I'm not saying this because I'm asking for a raise or anything like that. We are making it. We're good.
But if it's out there,
But it is. I still remember. It was so funny. Like I remember talking to girls and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, pre-med ladies will love that. But then I remember when I decided to go into ministry, and I'd be talking to girls and be like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to go into ministry. They're like, that's so good for you. And then they would walk off. It was like, oh, well, this is, but
true. Treasures in heaven.
I tricked my wife. So it's good. It's good. She thought I made a lot more than I did.
Yeah. Doesn't need the bank account till she's.
Anyway,
I will say I love the transparency too. And you can tell you guys all feel safe because Pastor Doug is transparent. Like, and that's what we've seen through some of these testimonies we've had people share, where the leader is super honest and vulnerable. You can see the team around them feel the same. So just, I don't know, just a leadership lesson I just watched literally happen.
I love being part of this team. Like the Lutz team is part of the, I've been on staff now here for almost 2 years. Can you believe that? Almost 2 years.
Well, so hasn't it?
It has. So
I've been here for 3.
But
wow.
But what I've
you
loved,
Cody.
I won.
and probably a little bit more with some of the girls on staff too, but everyone is amazing. But I have realized it's a safe place for me. Yeah. It's almost become its own small group to where I'm like, oh, I'm going through this, but I felt really comfortable to share it with somebody else that I'm working with, and just I'm not going it alone. I know that I can come into work, and if I was dealing with something heavy that morning or the night before, I can share it, and I know they're going to pray literally with me or over me, or and there's no judgment, right? There's no, like, we all go through stuff, right? So, and it's hard, and if we bottle it up, it's bad for us in every way, right? And so cool. thankful, so thankful.
It is an
blessed.
awesome team for sure.
Well, we're talking about community right now, which is the entire book of Acts, is talking about the early church getting started and going. And we're in our last week. We just had our last message in the book of Acts. But the entire idea is, one of the biggest things, the point of the church is to push the gospel forward. Like, it's to push the gospel forward. It's about Jesus. If we ever forget, it's about Jesus. And it's easy. You can get so busy doing good things that you forget the point is the gospel, and for the church to go forward. So when you guys are talking to people, I think one of the biggest things that people struggle with is sharing their faith with others or sharing the gospel with others. Or they're like, hey, you do that. You're a pastor. That's your job professionally. And it's like, but God has put you in a place on purpose for a purpose. Yeah. So when people go, I'm scared to share my faith, what are some of the tips that you guys give?
I tell them, just tell your story. Yeah. Just what did God do in your life, right? And that He can do the same in their life, the person they're sharing it with. That it doesn't have to be this, I got to know all these verses and memorize them and say them right. And it's just, hey, let me tell you who I was when I met Jesus and what life looks like now. Yeah. Like, what happened? Who was I before I met Him? How did I encounter Him? And then what life, like the change that's taken place. It's as simple as that. And don't confuse it or make it complicated, or it's just sharing your story. What did God do in your life? He'll do the same for you.
Yeah. I think Pastor Doug's hitting the nail on the head there. And I think we overcomplicate things so often, but you know who doesn't? Kids. And I was challenged by my son a couple years ago. We talk about it all the time, like invite people to church, tell them about church. And sometimes it's like they don't see us do it enough, but they live with this boldness and this faith. And it's just like, and they don't even go into testimony. They're just like, hey, I'm on the soccer team with these kids. And I remember a couple years ago, Izzy was on a soccer team, and he literally just started inviting all of these kids to church. He's like, hey, I go to Grace Family. You want to go? It was just that simple for him. But that conversation opened a conversation with their parents, and they're like, well, we've been there, but my son's shy, and he doesn't, he goes in there, gets scared in the clubhouse, and is he going to be there this weekend? They hadn't been in, I think it was like 6 months or something like that. And I was like, yeah, we're going to be there. And so sure enough, that Sunday we showed up, and the kid walks in and sees Izzy. He's like, Izzy! And Izzy just welcomed him in, invited him to church, and they had just been coming ever since. And so I think it's really, sometimes it's just make the invite. Who are the people you're living around? Because they see the fruit in your life if you're following Jesus. Right. But they're just looking for that invite.
I was actually going to mention that with fruit. Like, I think that's a huge part of it. Like, are we truly walking the same way all the time? Are we consistent, at the church? I mean, we're on staff, but does that, the way we're carrying ourselves and our character and our personalities and our, are we doing the same thing at home? Are we doing the same thing when we're at the grocery store or on the sports fields or whatever? Like, I think that speaks volumes, because I think people go, I want that. I want that. I see joy in her, and I see grace in her, and I see kindness in her, or him. And I think that speaks so much, because I think we want to walk around, and I say this all the time, like, we're always doing kingdom work here. Like, that's what we're doing. But part of it is just walking that walk that we're called to do. Yeah. So.
And not perfection.
No,
nobody's
absolutely
perfect.
not.
Except my wife.
There's
she's close.
One of the hardest things for me, and
Not
I know you're
perfection.
stepping into this, is my son's playing basketball now, and now I'm a dad watching basketball game, and every ref is awful ref, and so I'm watching this, and after every game, like, people are like, "Hey, Pastor," I'm like, "Oh my gosh." What did I say during that? So, like, I have to go into every single game. I'm like, somebody around here probably goes to Grace. Like, one time I had like 20 people come up to me afterwards, like, "Oh, we were so excited you're here." I'm like, oh, gosh, I hope I didn't say anything. But it's that dynamic of, but being real, but not perfect, but understanding that God has put the people around you on purpose for you to influence, for you to talk to, and ultimately invite.
No doubt about it. So, anything else on Acts, or should we ask them more about Lutz?
They should they should read that book of Acts.
Yeah.
I
Deal. You all
agree.
promise?
I
Here's the deal.
agree.
If you downloaded the thing or if you have the book, the rest of Acts you get to go through.
Yeah.
We actually wrote devotionals every single day to go along with it, with one of our pastors did, to go along with it to kind of show you how to do it. So not only do we want you to go through the book of Acts, but in the devotionals, go through that time and really learn how to read the Bible, but also read through what God does in that early church. It's so powerful.
For sure.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
Well, very cool on the Book of Acts. And let's close with this. Tell us what makes the Lutz location unique. What's the flavor? Give us 2 words.
Flavor.
The vibes that was it the things that
Vanilla?
make you guys
I think one
unique
thing,
and special?
I don't know if it sets us apart, but we talked about the strength of our team. Like God has assembled just a powerful, powerful team. We don't have a weak link. Like God has just brought the right people to the right place. And it's just amazing to see when people are operating in their gifting, how the kingdom grows. So we have so much fun. Of course,
We have a great leader.
Can I say that?
We have a great leader. We do have a lot of fun.
Doug's like, I'm having fun.
I'm having fun. I don't know.
We do have a lot of fun. Yeah.
And part of it, I get to work with my wife, Pastor Pam, who loves to put me in my place, and we joke pretty. We joke pretty
Yes.
openly, and which is
This
part
is
of
true.
the dynamic,
This is true,
right?
and it's
like she'll be
fun.
like, "Okay, stop,"
Yes,
and which is awesome, and so we're just very real. And again, that authenticity at the staff level, where there's this connection, and doing ministry out of that instead of out of angst or oh, am I going to get whacked if I don't do it perfectly, or not whacked in the sense of
Like a mob term?
am I going to get in trouble?
You do. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So yeah, I think, and so I love coming to work.
Yeah.
It's just, it's hard, but it's not unhealthy hard.
Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
And there's a difference.
Yeah.
So
cool.
And I think that hits on kind of what it looks like to be a staff. I think what separates us from all churches. No, I'm just kidding. We're all like this. But the uniqueness is like the authenticity on the staff is great, but that flows down to just when you walk in as a first-time guest or you've been coming for 10 years, it's just so easy to step into community. Like I found a small group, like I was talking about community earlier in my testimony, to find the right people. I'm like, all right, new job, new church, new community. And it took less than a couple months because it just, you walk in and a big church feels small really quick at Grace. At least at
That's
Lutz.
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
We are
very
one
good.
church, many locations.
You didn't
right?
let Tina talk.
I would just say we're like
I'm
we're a little bit
adding.
of confetti. We're a little bit of confetti. I
break that
think
down?
that yeah. I do. I think that because I think that just being part of Grace for a long time is coming, and then being on staff for a few years, and being at Lutz now, I just and I was at a couple of other locations for a while, but I think we're kind of like a hub, like the hub, So it's like you never really know who's going to be extra there, who's going to be, who's what's going on. You got the live going on, but there's just and it's just fun. It's just fun. So I feel like we're just little confetti.
The size of our we're the biggest location.
Right.
There's an energy to it, and we do have the live preaching every week, and there's an energy to that as well. And
That. So that's thank you.
Yeah.
That backs me up. That's the confetti.
Yeah, the confetti. And we do dance
You are the
parties. We do
confetti.
dance
And
we
parties.
do dance parties.
Yeah, we do dance
Yes, we do.
parties. That makes
So
very
fun.
Total sense now.
Yes.
Real quick, Celebrate Recovery.
Yeah.
When does it meet?
So at the Lutz location, we're Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. We do dinner about 6:45, 6:40. Come grab dinner, and then we kick off at 7. We're pretty hard to end at 8:30.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll link all the details as well to
Excellent.
Celebrate Recovery
Yeah.
in the YouTube version. So,
Yeah.
anything else? This
good.
is the end of our summer series. So thank you guys
Yeah,
so
thanks
much
for having us.
This was so awesome. And thank you all for being with us for another episode of the Pastors Hangover. We will see you next week.